walking across the bridge into Argentina.
Join me as I cross into Argentina, and then we'll head straight into what locals call the Devil's Throat. Those adventures and a few surprises I never saw coming.
My passport's a little wet. All right, fam, good morning. We are in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil. It's our first time waking up in Brazil, the Airbnb here. Today we're going to do a border crossing. Last week we did the Iguaçu Water National Park on the Brazil side. Today we're going to do the Argentina side. So it sounds funny, but the first thing we do in Brazil is we're going to Argentina. Airbnb tour. Okay, just ordered an Uber. This is the neighborhood we're staying in this week. It's about a block away from my Airbnb. It's a little overcast today weather-wise. Hopefully it doesn't rain. It's 19 degrees Celsius here in late June. It is technically winter time, so pretty mild weather winters in this part of the world. All right, Uber is right around the corner, so let's get in the taxi.
No, estoy bien. Llegando antes del puente yo puedo caminar. Gracias.
All right, right now I'm on the Brazil side. I'm about to cross into Argentina. This is one of those travel moments that sounds simple when you say it fast. Oh, I'm just gonna cross the border real quick. Down here, crossing a land borders, it's not like driving from Georgia into Florida. You're dealing with another country, another immigration system, another language, another currency. And sometimes officers like to ask questions. 2 border crossings ago, when I crossed from Argentina into Paraguay, from Posadas into Encarnacion, something didn't register properly. So later, when I was crossing from Paraguay to Brazil, immigration officers started asking me a lot of questions. How long were you in Argentina for? Where did you enter? Where did you exit? Why is this not showing correctly in the system? Where are you staying, etc. So I'm pulling up my Airbnb reservations, my photos, dates, locations, and basically just rebuilding my whole travel timeline. So you just got to be calm and cool and be a little bit prepared to answer questions like that. Also, in smaller border town crossings like this, they don't speak English. So today I'm feeling good energy. I already spent about 6 weeks in Argentina this year. So they should be pretty happy to see me, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna cut here and we'll see after immigration.
I've always found border crossings strangely fascinating. They're just lines on a map, yet somehow stepping across them always feels like the start of something new.
All right, Brazilian immigration is complete. Everything went smooth. And now I am walking across the bridge into Argentina. Brazil has officially cleared me to leave, but Argentina has not officially admitted me in yet. So for the next few minutes, I'm basically between 2 countries. One of the reasons I've come to appreciate overland travel is that flying gets you from one place to another directly. But crossing by land, walking like this, lets you witness the change itself. The language shifts, the road signs change, the rhythm of the streets feels different. And somewhere in the middle, you realize you're not just moving across a map, you're moving from one culture to another. There's something powerful about being able to look back from one country you just left and then turn forward and look towards the next one, knowing that every step is carrying you into a completely different way of life. Now, getting through Brazilian immigration was only the first half of the process. I still have to reach the Argentinian side, hand over my passport, answer whatever questions they might have for me, and officially into the country. So I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of this walk here. It's take in the view, and next time you see me, we'll be officially in Argentina.
It hadn't been long since I left Argentina, yet returning felt less like a visit and more like picking up a conversation that had never really ended. Argentina was part of the journey behind me, now it was in front of me again, familiar, unfinished, and somehow calling me back. I wasn't returning to the same country exactly, because I wasn't returning as the same person. Now I was seeing it through a different lens.
All right, we made it. I'm officially back in Argentina. The immigration process was straightforward. They did ask me a lot of questions. Just have to stay calm, answer clearly, have your travel information ready. One important note, the entire conversation was in Spanish. Smaller border town crossings like this are always going to be in the native language. And one thing you'll notice immediately is that Argentine Spanish has a rhythm and personality of its own. I've been speaking Spanish for a few years now fluently at an intermediate level, and a lot of the vocabulary and grammar is very different down here. All right, the border crossing is complete. The passport is good. Now I'm going to head into Puerto Iguaçu. So from here, we still have to get across town, find a bus to the park, and make our way into the Argentina side of Iguazu Falls. Let's keep moving. All right, before we head into the bus station, I need to find an ATM and get some Argentinian pesos for the next couple days. Argentina can be a frustrating place at the moment to use foreign debit cards. The last time I withdrew money in Buenos Aires, the ATM only allowed me to take out about $40 US at a time, and there's an added fee close to $15 US for the transaction. So it takes $15 to get $40 of your own money. That can change depending on the bank and the machine, but the banks and the government are definitely playing games with foreign cards. Argentina has made progress bringing inflation down, but the prices were still rising. So that doesn't just affect tourists. Argentinians feel it as well, the pain through food, rent, transportation, and just basic everyday expenses. Quick travel tip, Fidelity or Charles Schwab accounts can reimburse ATM fees worldwide. I use Fidelity, so I never pay any ATM fees outside the US. All right, let's find an ATM for some pesos, and then we'll head to the bus station and find our way to the park.
Travel has a way of reducing life to its simplest essentials. A little local currency, a sense of direction, and occasionally the kindness of a stranger willing to point you in the right direction.
All right, pesos in hand. We're approaching the park. There's a public bus that runs straight into town, the falls, every 20 minutes. You just pay cash when you get on. Tickets are about 7,500 pesos, so just a few bucks. And the ride out to the park takes about half an hour. So just walk up, hop on the bus, hop on with the locals or the travelers. And in about 30 minutes, we'll be standing in front of one of the biggest waterfalls on the planet. Let's go.
The ride itself was ordinary, but the destination was anything but. And when the park and flag finally came into view, it felt like the real adventure was about to begin.
All right, we made it. This is the entrance to the Iguazu National Park, Argentina side. It's 60,000 pesos for foreigners, about 40 bucks. US at today's rate. That gets you into every trail in the park, plus the train. One thing I have to take care of before I go in is drones are banned inside the entire park on both sides, on the Brazil side and Argentina side. So my drone's going straight to the locker right here at the entrance, not coming back out until we're done for the day. This park's actually a lot bigger than one would think. There's an upper trail and then a lower trail with also a train running deep into the jungle. Even a speedboat ride that gets you soaked right under the falls. We're going to be starting with the lower trail. That's the one that puts you closest to the water. Let's go.
I arrived expecting one unforgettable view. The guide quickly made it clear that Iguazu was something much larger, a world of trails, rivers, and waterfalls with far more to discover than I had imagined.
Baton, take the train.
Okay.
Take the tour.
Okay. Gracias. All right, that guy was super helpful. He's explaining to me that based on the timing, we might not have time to do everything. There's the most important thing, the Gran Aventura. That's where you do the boat, go under the waterfalls, and then that takes 3 hours. There's a jeep that takes you through the jungle part, and a little safari thing, and then gets you to the boat docks. And then he was telling me I might not have time to do the train and the other trails. So he said it's risky, it's possible, but depending on the water conditions and things like that. So we're gonna obviously do the boat. That's the big deal, and then hurry over to the train station and see if we can do that. The train station takes you to, or the train rather takes you to Garganta del Diablo. In Spanish means devil's throat. So that's, I guess, the second biggest thing after Gran Aventura. I don't like to be rushed, but there is, I did see when I was buying my ticket into the park, there's a 50% discount. If you want to come back the next day, you can pay 50% less to get back in the park. All right, we've got these animals again. Okay, ravaging through the food court. All right, beautiful scenery. A little bit overcast, misty today. Probably could work in our favor when it's super bright. It's kind of blown out for the camera. Hard to capture low light and super bright stuff for the sensor. And then also, if there's perfect weather, probably a bigger crowd. Possibly, I don't know. All right, I think I need to turn right here. If I remember, I'm looking for a guy named Mario.
Getting lost wasn't part of the plan. For a moment, I had no idea where I was going. Then a quiet waterfall appeared through the trees, turning confusion into a point of reference.
All right, made it to the bus station, or jeep station, whatever you call those things.
The boat was still ahead, but the adventure had already started. For the next 20 minutes, the jeep carried us deeper into the jungle and closer to the river, building the suspense with every turn. The road to the boat wound through dense jungle, turning a simple transfer into part of the adventure. And with every minute, the sound of the river felt closer. Walking down toward the river, I could feel the energy changing. The closer I got to the boat, the more this stopped feeling like a tour and started feeling like an adventure.
Bienvenido, welcome here.
The boat tore across the river, the wind whipping through my hair. As the jungle blurred past, the excitement started to build. Then, almost without warning, the first set of waterfalls came into view on the horizon. The waterfalls were finally right in front of us. This was the calm before the storm. Up close, the scale of the falls was almost overwhelming.
Lookout point up there.
The boat paused while another group went ahead, giving us enough time to realize what we had signed up for.
All right, I think we're about to get wet. That's incredible. So much power. All right, he just came by and said, "Espera el tiempo para la ducha," meaning it's time for the shower. Erica, what time is it? Time for a shower. All right, here we go. Get wet.
Alright, we're going again.
Nothing prepared me for the weight of the water crashing down around us. It was overwhelming, almost disorienting, but beneath the shock, I couldn't stop smiling. The adrenaline made every second feel electric. There are moments when happiness stops being something you chase and becomes something you simply recognize.
That was fun. Feel alive. Makes you feel alive for sure.
Sitting there, I wasn't thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. I was completely present and completely alive. By the time we turned back towards shore, every layer of clothing was drenched. The poncho had made a heroic effort, but against Iguazu Falls, it never really stood a chance and had served absolutely no purpose whatsoever. Fresh clothes helped, but the soaked shoes were a final reminder that Iguazu had won the day.
I have enough time for the train, but next to come back tomorrow, we can take advantage of the 50% discount and come back to the park. So the expensive anyways. My passport's a little wet. My brand new shoes, soaking wet. I got these new A6. They'll dry out. Wow. It's worth it though, you know, I feel alive. It was a little chilly, but I think if the sun was out, it'd be a little too hot. So I think it's just perfect. And looks like the weather's clearing up a little bit. So, wow, highly recommended. That was really neat.
I began wondering whether to keep going, but the thought of retreating to Brazil and returning back tomorrow was becoming harder to ignore.
Okay, I just realized that my 360 camera has some audio issues. It's waterproof, but there's some water in the microphone component. So I'm gonna, plus my shoes are soaking wet. I brought extra everything except for extra shoes. So travel tip, if you're doing Iguazu Falls, bring extra shoes. So I think I'm just gonna head back to Brazil and take a rest and recharge. And they give an incentive to come back to the park multiple days. So I'm gonna take advantage of that and just maybe make episode 2 or part 2 and do the rest of the park. But yeah, let's end it here for now. We'll catch you guys next time.